G'day everyone, Jackson here. Welcome back to the Daily Endeavours for the 20th of June. Before I start, I just want to point out the Seals of Endeavour store has changed quite dramatically. So you might notice as soon as you get into the Crown store, you see, oh shit, it's free! I got some bad news. So in order to get these, the requirements to claim them are two things. You need the Dragon Clash Living Armor Cinch, which is this thing here, requires several fucking third world countries worth of seals for this one. It's one of the Apex ones. And then, to make matters worse, you also need something else. So you go to Apex, and you need one of these two armors. So you need the Time Herald to get the Akatosh one, and then you need the World Eater's Living Armor to get the Alduin one. Everything looks pretty cool, but yeah, that's a fucking lot just to get these free things. So, not really free. But yeah, there's tons of stuff. It's all like dragon themed, which is kind of cool. So yeah, you can peruse this stuff at your leisure. Just go to the Seals of Endeavour section or the Crown Crate section if you want. Yeah, I just wanted to quickly go through that. There's some stuff like skins. There's some, unfortunately, the green vigor skill style has been taken away, so you can no longer purchase that. You've only got a 3600 seal one. So that's kind of annoying because that was a free base game method to get skill styles without gold road and shit. So yeah, I guess you still got this one, which is it's not too bad. It's not a difficult skill to get your hands on either. So. And there's a couple of haircuts as well, if you want those, some furnishings, some motifs. I will point out, these two motifs are cheap as fuck to get your hands on, usually. Yeah, that being said, most of them, for me, all of the motifs that you can get at the Crown store are not worth it in any way, especially those 6,000 crown ones. If you look at the Welkanar one, the chest motif for this is 50,000 gold. I would not spend this much money on this set. It's super the whole set is pretty cheap to get if you just do Ritz for a while and get some dreg wax to sell that shit. I just hate the fact that they sell that for 6,000 crowns. It's ridiculous. 15 seals, as always. I should have pointed out at the start, but there's timestamps in the description if you want to skip through and get to one of these options. If you just want to skip all the other stuff that you already know. It's a pretty good set. The only one I probably wouldn't do is alliance points, just on the basis that it's a lot of alliance points. I wouldn't even consider this if it was 5,000, just because of the unreliability of PvP. This many alliance points, it's 2 battlegrounds, which yeah, you might as well be doing the battlegrounds for the guildmate for how quick it's going to be. Compared to these four here, these will be so much faster in most cases than doing alliance points, because 2 battlegrounds, the queue times for battlegrounds alone is going to be longer than this stuff, and the other methods are taking resources, which takes a while, and it's 2,000 each. Taking keeps on your own is brutal, and relying on a group is not great. So yeah, I just suggest doing any of these four here, and I would only do this one if you have the High Isle DLC. I wouldn't use the base game option. I'll just use these 3 instead. Alright, so let's jump into it. I'll start with versus and selling to merchants. You can do these two in tandem with each other. So what you need to do is find Infinite Archive. So you go to the world map, go to Apocrypha, and you can find Infinite Archive here. Regardless of what DLC you own, you will have access to this with base game. You don't need Necrom to actually access this. So you go to any way shrine in the game, and you can access this from the get-go. Right, so once you're in here, you want to go to this side or over here, and there are merchants here. So any merchant, it doesn't matter if it's a merchant or a blacksmith or a clothier, anyone with a store, so just talk to them and open the store. Naturally, I've got stuff that sells automatically, but what you need to do is go into your inventory. Just find something that you have quite a bit of. For example, lockpicks are fine, or soul gems. And what you do is you sell them, and it will count for this endeavor, but then you go to the Buyback tab, and then you buy it back. And this doesn't cost you any extra gold to buy it back, and versus selling it, you get the same amount of gold. It's just a undo thing. So that's usually what I do to get the selling to merchants one done without costing you anything. Obviously you can just sell stuff in your inventory, but yeah, you can just do that as a cost neutral way. If you want an easy merchant to get to outside of Infinite Archive, probably one of the closest to get to in the game is probably this one here, where the Quick and Fire is. It's the person there. I think the Battlegrounds finishes are also right here, so you can use those. I think in Glenumbra, the Battlegrounds people might just be here as well. Yeah, there's Battleground merchants right here next to the West Shrine there. There's a couple of merchants you get to really quick. Okay, so as far as Infinite Archive goes, 2 verses is quick to do. It's 2 stages, which are the things you start with at the very beginning. So stages are just 3 waves of regular enemies. So if you can handle the initial enemies in like a dungeon, you can handle the initial enemies infinite. God. You can handle the initial enemies in an Infinite Archive stage. So what I like to do is I'll stack on the melee. I'll stack the ranged enemy, and what will happen is when I'm on the ranged enemy, the melee enemies will come to me, and so it just makes it easier to stack everything. So it'll just be a random assortment of different enemy types. We've got Spriggans here, we had Dremora before. This one's here. Interrupt them if you can, because they strengthen each other. You have to be quick with the interrupts, though. So every time you get a 3rd wave on a stage, it will most likely have one of these bigger enemies. And so just be aware of that. They're a little bit tougher. I prefer going for the small enemies first, kill them, because usually the bigger enemies, they're not bad on their own. Some of them can be quite brutal though, like the Crow Wraith thing and the Iron Atronachs. I'm not a big fan of those. Alright, so these are verses. These are what you need to complete the endeavor. So sometimes these will be great, and then other times you'll get things like Archival Assault, which is shit. So yeah, I'll just get reduced AoE damage. They're basically buffs that are quite strong, but they only last until the next stage is done. So yeah, it's just completely random if they'll help you or not. Now, once you go through this portal, you'll go to the next stage, and that's all you need to do. So complete the same thing. It'll be identical, essentially, except the enemies that you get will be a little bit different. So you might get a big enemy and whatnot. But yeah, the stages are quite easy. After you complete this stage, you get a cycle, which is a boss, but you don't have to fight them. So once you're done, whenever you go to the next round after you've completed one, there will be one of these doors, the index doors. So to get out of Infinite Archive, you can either use your house just to get out, or you can use the index door, go to the exit here, and it will take you out to where you were before. It's just easy to escape from there. So if you came in via Wayshrine, you'll just get sent straight to a Wayshrine. Okay, now we are on to finding logs of wood. So rough wood in this game spawns just all over each zone, just in predetermined locations. The thing you're going to want to keep an eye on, if you're not too familiar with like woodworking nodes in this game, there are 10 types in total, and which one spawn depends on 2 things. Depends on your level. So if your character level is max, for example, you'll get 50% chance of ruby ash. If they're like level 20, for example, you'll get oak. And then your crafting level also impacts it. So if you go to craft, you go to woodworking here, and you go to this passive here, whichever this number is also impacts what spawns. So this is 1 all the way down to 10 here. So keep those 2 in mind, and that will impact what spawns. And if you want to know what each node type looks like, you can scroll over these links and it'll show you what each one looks like. So this is good because every node looks exactly the same of each type. So each birch node is going to look exactly like this. Once you see what one looks like, you'll see what they all look like. So it gets quite easy to spot them in the distance once you get to that stage. If you can, it's a good idea to try and get max level in crafting, because all the ruby or like rubidite or like the max level stuff, they have like a very distinct red color that is easily identifiable in many zones. Like I can't think of a single zone where, maybe outside of the Deadlands, where like ruby ash would just not would like blend in. And in Deadlands, 1, I wouldn't go there because it's like I find fuck all resources anyway, and 2, they spawn as like a different thing. They look completely different in those like Daedric zones. So yeah, as far as which zones to go, my only recommendation to you, I'll link that in the description by the way if you want to look at it. Craglorn is like a exception to the rest of the rule, simply because when you're finding wood nodes as well as smithing and jewelry nodes and clothing nodes, all of these can have a chance to give you no crux, which is a very valuable trait item. So this is fortified no crux, so you can also get potent no crux. Potent no crux looks very similar, but it's like a powder. It's like cocaine, sort of like blood cocaine. These here, as you can see, they sell for quite a bit. So you can make money off these, or you can use them yourself for researching or for like using your own weapons for your own purposes. all sorts of things. So that can be very beneficial. But this is also where everybody else goes. So if you don't want to, like, if you want probably a better chance at just finding them in the wild, just go to like old zones, just like in random places. Like, for example, just go over here and check around here, because those will be places often less traveled, because this is the place usually where everybody goes. The other thing is surveys. So if you have some woodworking surveys on you, what you can do is look up where to find them. So for example, talking about East March again, this woodworking survey will have 6 nodes. And so what you could do is just go to this location, find all the woodworking nodes, and collect them. And that's an easy way to get all 5. The only thing about surveys, so if it's your last one, my advice to you is hold on to it. You know how I feel about those things. Sometimes we get survey endeavors, and when they come up, if you don't have a survey to do those, you can't do them. And if you get like a really shit set, where the survey endeavor is like one of the clear best ones, doing the rest of them can be a pain in the ass. So just having surveys and just doing writs to make sure you've got a couple on hand is probably a better bet than just doing this, because while this, not having a survey for this slows you down, not having a survey for the other one, you can't do it entirely. So I just prefer prioritizing it for the other endeavors. If you've got tons, just go nuts. And the only other thing to consider is that with natural nodes like these ones, non-survey ones, you can get heartwood. Heartwood found here. This stuff sells for a lot, and there are actually some endeavors where heartwood comes in handy. So having access to the, like a couple is all you need, like 2. And if you haven't done that endeavor before, it's a bit complicated. I'll get to that when it comes up again. The dining furnishings, if people are familiar. But yeah, just regardless, getting these and selling them is also another good way to get gold. I'm using an add-on to show me previous locations where I've found woodworking nodes. I'll link this in the description too. It's called Harvest Map. You can get it on PC. I'll have to check if add-ons are out for console. I'm pretty sure you can get them now too. Yeah, June 18th. So let me know if consoles have add-ons. They should now. The Harvest Map, that's what you're looking for. I don't know if there's like certain add-ons that you can only have on there, but it should be pretty straightforward. There you go, there's another one. So there's one I found earlier, so I can just go and check this area and use that to find them quicker. Yeah, this add-on's very helpful. There's another one. Just need one more. Number 5. Oh yeah, I suppose I should mention, if you're attacked while you're trying to grab one of these things, it interrupts it. So clear the area before you grab one of these things. Sometimes players can come through and grab it while you're attacking stuff. It's fucking annoying. But yeah, there's nothing you can really do. The only thing you can do, I'm pretty sure, is if the enemies you're attacking have like an AoE ability, if it passes through where they're trying to grab it, it'll actually interrupt them too, and they'll get into combat. So that might help you. But yeah, if people take your stuff, just yeah, there's another one there. So it's just, yeah, it's not worth getting annoyed about, because that's what they want, for you to be annoyed. So last of the 4, I suppose, decent options, Iron Atronachs. So if you have access to High Isle, this is the only instance where I'd actually do this one, because all the other options for Iron Atronachs are pretty limited. You do have other ones, but like they're just, I don't think they're worth using. So I'll go through them all. So the base game option is Forgotten Waste. It says wander the volcanic vase of Vonveld. This is not true. The only place you can actually find these things is in Forgotten Waste. You'll find hive golems in the environment, but they do not count as Iron Atronachs. It's not worth fighting those. There are about 6 in total in Forgotten Waste that you can find in total. There is a group event, like the group event in there, that's also one of the options, but everybody kills the group event too quickly for it to actually spawn anything, so I wouldn't bother with that, just because, yeah, people don't seem to be able to understand that. The other ones are usually spawn and then people immediately kill them. So this option here, it just takes a while. You will get this done quicker if you choose any of the other options, unless you have High Isle. There are other places, like for example in Western Skyrim, there is a delve called Dragonhome. There are, I think, another 5 or 6 Atronachs, maybe 10 in here. You can use this one if you have access to Greymore, but I don't know how accurate it's going to be, because if someone else comes through and does the same thing, you're screwed. Like, it's going to take ages. Unless they leave at that time and then everything respawns. There is also in High Isle, you have... fuck, which delve is it? I think it's the Fire Pot. There are Iron Atronachs in here as well, but I don't think there's 5. I think there's like only a few. So you can use that as well if you want. There is Sunspire in Northern Elsewhere, the trial, but you only get 1 at a time with Yolnakrin, the fire dragon. He summons, I think, a total of 4 in the entire fight. So I don't think you even get 5 in total in that. Unless you wipe once. I guess you could do that way too, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Just do the other shit. Yeah, the only one I would recommend is using High Isle volcanic vents. So these things... They spawn groups of them, and even then it's still not super reliable, because sometimes they don't even spawn, right? So there's 7 volcanic vents in total. So what you do is, they'll show up like this once you've discovered them before, and that's what you're looking for. So we'll just go... Usually when Iron Atronachs are one of the options for the Endeavours, everybody's doing a volcanic vent. Well, not everybody, but a significant amount. You can find them rarely in the Overland as well, from the like little smaller volcanic vents. But yeah, it's not super common. Right, so this one's just cleared, so I'm gonna have to go back. It's a good idea to wait at the way shrine. Don't travel off somewhere else. Because what can happen is you can clear a volcanic vent, and then the next one that spawns is literally the fucking same one. It happens all the time, I find. So what you want to do is, if you don't see any active, just wait on the map, just chill here, and just, yeah, so that one started, and then it stopped. So I don't know what goes on here, but sometimes they just decide to not end up going ahead and starting. So if you see that happen, don't travel over there. It's a fake one, sometimes. Yeah, there you go. So this one's actually started, so we'll go over here. So some are closer to way shrines than others. Some can be a pain to get to. Yeah, they're a bit weird, these things. I don't like dealing with them too much. Just avoid all the wolves on the way. So the way they work is there's 3 sort of lava holes that you got to patch up first. And in order to patch them up, you need to kill the creatures that go around them. So some of the creatures can be Iron Atronachs, so that's what you're looking for. So kill this bad boy. Now, if you see other people coming, just like delay killing the Iron Atronach a bit, because other people are going to have the same idea. They're going to want to do the same thing. Right, so when you kill the other enemies, it'll spawn another group, another wave of enemies. Some of these can also be Iron Atronachs, but not always. Yeah, so see, you can see someone else has got the same idea. So these Flame Atronachs, they are quite relevant, because if they get to these lava pools, they will empower up, and they'll become like bigger and actually start attacking you. Whereas normally they just don't care about you, they just ignore you. There's another one over there. So these are magma golems, same as the hive golems from Volcanic Waste. These things are not worth your time killing if you can avoid it. Okay, there's one there. So if you're really lucky, the final boss of a volcanic vent will actually be an Iron Atronach. It is possible. But there's a bunch of different types of Atronachs that you can get. So it's entirely just dependent on a bunch of shit. So I've got a couple of the living Atronachs, like non-spectral Atronachs, I would say. But these don't count as Iron Atronachs, just so we're clear. Only the ones that have the same... they're just a reskin of Frost Atronachs. They're the only ones who count. Okay, so everything's cleaned up by the look. So now we get the main boss. So these big AoEs, just block them, otherwise they'll stun you. Or yeah, they'll do that. Yeah, you gotta kill these guys, otherwise the holes won't plug up. And they do a heavy attack that's nasty. It's a bit delayed, so be prepared to block after a few seconds when you see their heavy attack sparkle. Okay, so we only got 2 from that. So that's what I mean. Even now, it's like super unreliable at times. But if you're lucky, you'll get a boss. That's an Iron Atronach. That's what's best. Okay, it's not. Even now, sometimes you'll get Iron Atronachs that spawn with the boss. Once it gets to a certain amount of HP taken away, they start spawning. So all these fire, rain things, just get out of them. You can take a couple, but... Oh, take one or two, but yeah, don't take too many. Oh yeah, there's one. Yep. Yeah, it's spawn. See, like, it just fucking spawn a ton of them at once. But sometimes you get like super duper lucky, and then sometimes you don't get shit. Get out of the AoE on the floor. And we're done. Once you're finished, there'll be a chest that spawns approximately in the middle where everyone's standing. Everybody knows by now. It takes a couple of seconds to spawn, but yeah, you just sit here for a bit. There it is, fucking at cash. So this is one of the ways to get Oaken Soul leads. Yeah, well there you go. I got the Igneous Inlays. That's the Oaken Soul lead. So yeah, it usually doesn't pop up that quick though. It usually takes ages. Yeah, that's the only way I would do this endeavor. I fucking hate trying to do the other ways. Alright, so if you have any questions, as always, just let me know. But that's daily's done. So thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for your support as always. Golden Vendor will be out tomorrow. So I'll talk about that when it comes up. Yeah. Happy Friday, everyone. Take care. I'll see you next time.